Well, great. Well, thanks again, Stacy and Cotton Board for putting the program together. Always good opportunity to connect with stakeholders and those who invest in the program and are part of our stakeholder group. This morning, we'll review our 2026 strategic plan and a budget as well. So you can see some of our strategy going forward. As we kind of look at the budget initially, we are in a down budget year, so we will be taking a 4% decrease in our budget from $89 million to 85.1. And always like to communicate in a year where we do have a down budget, it's important to know that any increase or any level spending by division is even more important, recognize more. So as we look at the budget, there are some strategic shifts that are happening as well. So we're not only inside of a down budget, but we also are making some strategic shifts as an organization to specifically putting more emphasis with our activities inside of the supply chain, which also encompasses a lot of the work that we're doing on the research and development side of things. So as I go through the presentation, you'll see kind of the shift down in the budget and also some shifts in strategy as well. As we first start to kind of lay the framework for where the budget is, our budget is driven by three primary components: price, production, and imports of cotton products coming back into the United States. As we look at the price chart over the past year, you can see since January, we've really been kind of what I'd say is range bound, trading anywhere from 65 to 70 cents per pound. A lot of that is driven by the fundamentals of the market, specifically as we look at some of our major customers out there, China being the number one. If we look at kind of the historical chart of China and their purchases of cotton, you can see in crop year 23 and 24, there was a huge spike in imports to China. They obviously were building up some of the reserves, and you can see this is fairly cyclical with them. You'll see spikes and then some valleys. And now in the 24-25 year, you can see there's been a significant decline. And that decline has really been absorbed by all sources of cotton. You can see here in the arrows that all sources of cotton down from China about 65%, specifically Brazil down 61, US down 82, Australia down a little bit less. So significant reduction in imports of cotton in China, which obviously has big impact on the overall market and some of the price there. In addition to that, we have to layer on some additional pressures of those downward pressures, also being attributed to the sheer volume of cotton in the market. So in the market right now, you can see the chart on the right shows the amount of exportable cotton that has grown significantly. This is primarily driven by increases in production in Brazil. However, US, Australia, we all have had kind of significant crops. So there's a lot of cotton on the market right now. Some of the good news, even with all these pressures and while China has decreased, you can see now the chart on the left shows the China numbers in red. However, we have seen some increases in imports from other key textile manufacturing countries and cotton consuming countries, specifically around Vietnam, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. So while there's been a decline in imports to China, there's some others that are picking up. Obviously, it's not enough to manage the full balance, but there is some improvement, some other important markets for us. And a lot of these markets are also very friendly US cotton markets. So we'll be putting a lot of emphasis on making sure that we're working very closely with those to increase their demand and consumption on China. Also looking at just overall increase in mill use, global mill use. And we are seeing a little bit of an uptick there, coming off of a 5-year low of 113 million bales to a forecast of 25-26 of 118 million bales. This is a trend we're going to harness and continue to drive and push on. Obviously, there's sluggish demand out there, and we need to be putting more emphasis on driving more cotton demand at the mill level. And just quickly, the last component of our budget is also, which I mentioned, is imports of cotton products coming back into the United States. And here you can see this chart highlights the amount of consumer spending, overall spending on apparel, and then also the import volume that's coming into the United States, United States being the number one consumer of textile products. So you'll see that there's a big spike after COVID when all that stimulus money flooded into the economy. So there's a lot of spending, and then we experienced a pretty sharp drop off. We attributed a lot of that to some of the de minimis provision, but also some questions around the amount of inventory of textile products that are out there. We did see some data points where this crept up a little bit recently here in 25, but also have seen it fall back up, file back off. But that could be indication of some of the macroeconomic issues that are out there. So just laying the foundation for some of the market situation that we're having to challenges that we're having. There are a lot of challenges around these market dynamics, and this forces have really compounded the market and really created a very challenging situation for cotton. So as a result of this, starting late December of last year, we went through the process. We at Cotton Incorporated and the Cotton Board went through the process of working with Deloitte Consulting to conduct a full evaluation of our program. We wanted to look at the program strategy. We wanted to look at the effectiveness of what we're doing. And based on that, the results from that evaluation, we've gone through and created kind of a new refined strategy, go forward strategy that I'm going to cover with you this morning. And that strategy begins with this new ambition statement. And this is, we will strengthen cotton's competitive market position as a voice to the value chain to improve demand for cotton as a high quality, versatile, and compliant fiber while driving economic viability for U.S. cotton producers. So as we unpack this statement, it's important to see some of these key areas that we're highlighting. And our first is all around competition. So our ambition is not only to grow alongside synthetic fibers and the growing textile market, but we need to expand. We need to regain share from synthetic fibers and stimulate more growth for cotton. As I've come up through Cotton Incorporated, we've always talked about Cotton Incorporated as being, or as cotton being, the preferred fiber amongst consumers, but really trying to challenge ourselves to take it to the next level. We need to challenge ourselves to be that fiber of choice. We don't need to be a preference. We need to be bigger than that. We need to be better than that. We would need to be sought after and chosen. As we move to kind of the second aspect of the ambition statement, we talk about customers. And when we talk about customers, we're looking at the value chain here. Customers are the end consumer, but also who we're working with within the supply chain. And we believe that putting greater emphasis on the value chain, meaning suppliers, manufacturers, brands, retailers, this is going to create the most impact. These are the customers that we're working with that are actually making those raw material decisions for a product to actually make it to the shelf. We believe that cotton will win on quality, versatility, and compliance. These are three primary benefits of cotton, and we're going to focus our research and promotion efforts on these benefits to make sure that we're conducting not only the research but also the promotion of these benefits to the industry and to the end consumer. And lastly, but certainly not least and critically important, is economic viability. And we need to be supporting U.S. cotton producers. This remains, a critical component of our mission, one of the key components there, and we'll be focusing a lot on the economic viability of U.S. producers from, gains in efficiencies and yield, looking into potential new revenue streams, and anything that really can benefit the bottom line of cotton producers inside of the United States. Our ambition statement is built around and propped up by 5 integrated strategic pillars that you can see on the screen, and all of the divisions within Cotton Incorporated, their strategies ladder back to these 5 strategic pillars. These pillars represent a sharper focus for us. We're going to have more deliberate allocation of resources to ladder back to these pillars and really strengthen cotton's competitive advantage. And these are all designed to deliver greater value to our stakeholders, whether that be U.S. cotton producers or mills, brands, and retailers, all who are consuming cotton. As we look at each of these strategic pillars, I'll go through each of them and shed a little bit more, put a little bit more color on them so understand exactly what they mean. And the first two are all related to our marketing initiatives. So the first two pillars really reflect our focus on our marketing efforts. A key part of our strategy at Cotton Incorporated is push-pull marketing. This strategy is based on the idea that we need to work with product developers to push cotton and get cotton into products. And at the same time, we need to be working on the other end with the end consumers to make sure that we're pulling cotton through and that the end consumers are buying those products. As you can see the diagram on the bottom there, we're working at all touch points across the supply chain, working really with these two key audiences, first of the supply chain and the second, the end consumer. And the important thing to recognize here is that they're decision makers throughout that supply chain. So we really need to be identifying those decision makers and working with them to push and pull more cotton into the market. As we look at the first strategic pillar, this is a deliberate increase in emphasis on our marketing efforts to upstream in the supply chain. It's essential for us to be working with brands and retailers, manufacturers, these decision makers who ultimately determine what fiber makes it into products. Because you have to think, if a consumer cannot buy a cotton product if it's not on the shelf. So these decisions are made by mills, manufacturers, brands, retailers, and are really shaping the demand for cotton. Here, as we go through this initiative, we're putting more emphasis on co-branded marketing opportunities. How can we expand adoptions of the seal of cotton? How can we have more cooperative campaigns with brands and retailers? We'll also be putting additional emphasis on innovation and implementation of our technologies and commercializing fabrications. This is a key component because we're transferring proprietary technologies that require use of cotton to commercialize them. So we'll be working very closely with manufacturers and brands to implement those technologies and ultimately get them onto the store shelf. Sourcing support and guidance, connecting partners to suppliers. We've got to be a facilitator of business here and linking brands and retailers to manufacturers, connecting the sellers with the buyers, and providing the tools that they need to navigate some of the sourcing issues or sourcing regulations that are constantly changing inside of different markets. How can we be a resource and support for sourcing textile products? And lastly is around technical information and education. Delivering training is a great opportunity for us because as we deliver training and information, we can do it from a cotton lens, specifically promoting cotton, but also working to support people in their development of cotton products. Cotton Incorporated, always talk about ourselves as being the warranty for cotton. If you have a problem with developing a cotton product, we want you to come to us. We're here to support you in that, knowing that if you have a good experience and good support for developing cotton products, you'll continue to do more. I mentioned about technologies and commercializations. Cotton Incorporated has a good foundation that we can build upon here. In our research and development laboratories, we have developed a suite of technologies that enable cotton to compete directly against synthetic fibers, talking about moisture management, water repellency, durability, softness, a lot of new technologies that we develop that make cotton more attractive and can enable it to compete with other fibers. We've had, as I mentioned, a great history of this. Here you can scan the QR code on the screen and see a brochure where we talk about over 120 adoptions of our technologies that have happened out there. We continue to innovate. We continue to develop new technologies and fabrications that are market ready, that are market relevant, can be commercialized and adopted by brands and retailers. So an area where emphasis continues to be of great importance there. As we transitioning to market efforts around the consumer, we're really going to be focused on targeted consumer engagement. While we're putting more emphasis on our work with the supply chain, we're not walking away from the consumer. Consumer marketing continues to be a critical component of our marketing efforts at Cotton Incorporated. And we're going to build on that foundation, implementing some new approaches. Our consumer strategy will be implementing kind of a new streamlined approach to drive consumer behavior. And driving that consumer behavior is going to be important to do through targeted awareness. We'll be focusing on benefit messaging and consumer education. These are some key components on to how we're going to bring the consumer along the journey, engage with them, but ultimately try to activate them and get them looking for cotton on the store shelf. As part of this streamlined marketing approach, consumer marketing team will be dropping our broad awareness campaigns. So we are going to back away from broadcast TV. It's an extremely expensive and also very competitive area to be in. Lots of commercials out there. It's very costly, but we're going to focus instead on more targeting and more high impact efforts. These campaigns that we'll be working off of in 26 will leverage, we'll be leveraging video, we'll be leveraging social media, obviously our social channels, search engine marketing, and working with influencer partnerships to reach our target market there, which is, females ranging from age 18 to 39. We'll have campaigns that integrate, digital first advertising and social campaigns. Again, pushing education-driven messaging around some of the benefits of cotton. We talk a lot about sustainability, specifically now as we talk about sustainability, microplastics is a key area for us to focus on, but also highlighting some of the benefits around comfort, durability, versatility. We'll partner with strategic influencers and also have retail activations where we'll be working with brands and retailers to create specific cotton collections. Again, a huge part of what we do is bringing the consumer along the journey, but ultimately we need them to make that purchase. So we need them to go through and actually make the purchase at the shelf. And so it's beyond engaging and doing things with brands and retailers to create point of sale opportunities is a great opportunity for us. As we shift into the third pillar, this is about us really addressing things at a product specific area. So we're going to be focused on reinforcing cotton's position in some of our core categories, but also looking for those opportunities to grow. Where are there areas that we can expand cotton use? We are taking a step back. We're not going to be everything to everyone, but we're going to make very deliberate decisions about what categories we're going to focus on and where we'll market. This is all about identifying, where cotton can deliver the greatest opportunities. So we'll be investing in those areas. Here you can see we're kind of categorizing this strategy as our protect and grow. Key categories where we already have predominant share: denim, t-shirts, underwear, home textiles, but then looking for those opportunities of growth around activewear, athleisure, and a big component of this where we're investing more is around new markets. New markets is our look into non-traditional markets, new applications that we could unlock, new market opportunities and new revenue streams. As we look at the strategy, when you look at U.S. import volumes, there's several areas that really determine what's coming in. Macro environment, obviously things like population growth and global GDP, economic growth, but also looking at fashion trends, costs are the areas there that cotton can leverage and utilize as part of this growth strategy. So we'll be taking a strategic look at specific categories that are growing, specific categories that are shrinking. How are we performing in each of those categories, and where are the threats and where are the opportunities? A great example of this that we're already working on is just comparing some of the trends in women's bottoms. Here you can see a chart that shows women's denim jeans, the dark blue bar, and you can see kind of a steady movement there along the way. This is obviously a cotton heavy category for us and one that is important. And then you can see the growth and explosion of imports of women's leggings. This is a category that has gained in popularity, maybe not necessarily good for cotton because most of the leggings are synthetic. So, coming up with specific initiatives around getting cotton into leggings, our product development team and our US marketing team have already done a great job of creating assets that we can take out to a lot of these activewear brands to show cotton is an option for these specific programs. So really getting in and dissecting things and looking for opportunities at a product level. Ultimately, our goal is to get more cotton into products. As we look at the market, 77% of cotton goes into apparel, 20% goes into home, and 3% goes into that other bucket, which typically is nonwovens products like facial wipes, maybe diapers, adult incontinence, feminine hygiene products. So a key part of this protect and grow strategy is also looking into these new markets. What other options are there out there for cotton to get into? If we could find a way to decrease our dependence on apparel and home textiles, we could really have a lot of potential gains out there, a lot of upside to create new opportunities in categories where cotton historically hasn't been present. So we're going to be expanding a lot of our research in this area. We've put additional money behind both the research and the marketing. These categories could include things like the various industrial applications, looking at packaging. Think about all the packages that are shipped around the world now, looking at composites, medical textiles, really a lot of opportunities to find new markets for cotton. And we've got a great sustainability story. Think about how much better it would be to pack these Amazon packages in something derived from cotton rather than all the plastic. Fourth pillar is all about cotton's ability to really meet the demands around compliance and sustainability. We're seeing that compliance and sustainability are continue to dictate a lot of raw material decisions that are being made out there. This is one of cotton's most compelling market differentiators, in my opinion, because a lot of these decisions are now being shaped and pushed into compliance and sustainability. So an area where we're really going to be working to what I've talked to our chief sustainability officer about is, we got to amplify, doing more here. So compliance really is no longer an option. There's regulations that are shaping these decisions. So we need to make sure that we're focused on that. And as we talk about compliance, it's a large umbrella. We're talking about things like sustainability. We're talking about traceability, subjects like circularity, what happens at the end of life of that product, cost, design, promotion are important parts of kind of the product developments cycle, but they're no longer the only thing. They're no longer just sufficient. So putting more deliberate effort around this compliance and the research that we're doing there, but then also we have to have the data to support it too. So as we're working with brands and retailers who are setting goals around environment, social, and governance, we need to have the data to support those goals and to show them that cotton is a responsible raw material that can check that compliance box for them. A big part of this is a lot of the information out there about microplastics. This is a slide from our consumer research group that shows microplastics continue to grow as a concern to the consumer. People are worried about eating and drinking them. They're worried about getting into the aquatic environments and marine life. They're worried about pollution on beaches. And importantly is this human health aspect. They've identified microplastics in humans' blood, in our organs, in our brains. So this is a big marketing opportunity because cotton is a natural solution for this. Cotton fibrillates. We do have microfibers, cotton microfibers that get out into the environment. However, the key is that we do biodegrade. And this is a critical message for us to take forward. And another important mission with the microplastics promotion and discussion around that is we've got to draw the link to apparel. Right now, a lot of the discussion around microplastics, you'll hear it on the water bottles, plastic packaging, plastic utensils, plastic cutting boards, but we really need to make sure that there's a link to textiles and apparel, because as you launder synthetic garments, those microplastics get out into the environment. So we need to make sure that the consumers and the supply chain have that awareness around microplastics being linked directly to apparel. We currently have marketing efforts around this through our supply chain with digital media, featuring it in events through presentations or displays. A lot of great content building on the research that's being done by our research team and our sustainability group. Also driving this home through the consumer channels as well. We need to make sure that we're putting that out there through our social media channels, through our advertising, doing some education around it, and ultimately picking up things, media coverage through digital and earned. Here you can see a quick video, no sound with it, but you can see one of the influencers there who's there. She's cleaning out her closet of all the synthetic garments and putting cotton in its place. So again, a great opportunity related to compliance, but something specifically that will be driving home amongst other things. And lastly is our strategic pillar around innovation. Innovation remains critical and essential to maintaining our competitiveness against synthetic fibers. This is an important pillar because it puts innovation at the forefront, and our innovation strategy spans the entire chain from the farm to finished product, and we're identifying short-term and long-term market needs. So we need to have a very balanced portfolio, conducting research and development activities, and then also working to then pull those through to commercialization. And part of the innovation strategy also is leveraging partnerships too. Recognize that Cotton Incorporated, we do a lot of research and we develop a lot of great things in cotton, but we're not the only ones. There are other private companies or universities or research institutes that also do great things. So strengthening those partnerships to really leverage anything that's good for cotton, again, across the entire value chain from the farm to fiber to finished products. Our ag research group has a robust portfolio of research that they conduct every year, over 400 projects that they're working on, from pest management to genomics to new technologies that present opportunities at the farm for efficiency gains. Cottonseed research will continue to be important to drive the value of cottonseed, and of course, research around sustainability. At the textile research side, cotton's a natural fiber. It's a great advantage because we're grown from the earth. We can be returned to the earth. We've got a great sustainability and natural story. However, we're disadvantaged because we don't control what that fiber is. The quality of that fiber, the length, the micronair, the strength. Whereas if you compare it to synthetic fibers, they're manufactured in a plant. What comes in, goes out each day is the same. You can engineer it to have a hollow core so it drapes differently. It can have multi-channels so that it wicks moisture. You can embed different technologies to help monitor temperature. So really we're at a disadvantage there, but through technology, we can create great things. So we need to continue to do research at the fiber stage, working to breed longer, stronger fibers. And then also we do have, of course, a state-of-the-art research lab here in Cary. Certainly appreciate the investment by all of our stakeholders and invite you to come tour at any time, but we've got a very dedicated effort on the textile research side of things. So that's an overview of really our refined strategy. This is the foundation that we're going to be building upon, all laddering back to that ambition statement. We're taking a sharper look, a sharper focus, and really doing a better job of deliberate allocation of our resources. And when I talk about resources, that's time, that's people, that's money, and looking for ways that we can deliver greater value to our stakeholders, U.S. cotton producers, brands, retailers, and consumers. On the budget specifically, this is how the 26 budget lays out. We have about 55% of the budget going towards marketing activities, a little under 40% of the budget going towards our research activities, which are divided in agriculture research, which includes ag research related activities and our sustainability division. And then our research and developments in the textile arena is about 18%, just under 18% there. Administration making up 7% of the corporate budget. Specifically, as we look at some of the numbers and changes from last year, Ag research overall is seeing a modest increase of 1%. We do have to take into account the state support program, which is going down 7%, and that is actually a formula driven, so nothing controlled there. But core ag research is going up 3% with focus on the sustainability up 8%, and our textile research and development efforts up 8% there. And as we look at our marketing activities, marketing initiatives directed towards the supply chain, overall will be up 7%, with those core activities up 18%. And the importer support program, very similar to state support program, is formula driven. We did have to decrease our contribution to CCI just with an overall reduction in our corporate budget. We need to put more into some of our corporate initiatives. Still the largest contributor, industry contributor to CCI, so still having a strong partnership with them and continued dialogue for collaboration and partnership opportunities where we can support them further with budget. And then on the consumer side, decreased by 18%. And this is really can be attributed to the pullback from broadcast television, again, focusing on more targeted and strategic initiatives inside of that area. With that, concludes the presentation, and I will stop sharing the screen so that we can go to